Yep. What's up? What's happening? Welcome into Boston has entered the chat. He's Travis Thomas and George Balekji. T, how we doing today, man?
Thought of new nicknames for us. Smash and Dash.
I like it. You're Smash. You're the Brute. I'm Dash. I'm the Speed.
You're the Speed.
Yeah.
Smash and Dash. You've heard of Shake and Bake. You've heard of Thunder and Lightning. But you ain't heard of Smash and Dash.
There we go. I'm going to call you Dre, but I'll call you Smash as well.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Hey, we got a packed show for you guys today. As always, go through what's trending. Jimmy Harden entering NBA history. Beyonce, NFL, Netflix collision course. Danny Dimes is done in New York.
Are you ever going to call that man James?
No.
Jimmy Harden.
Gets a ring, I'll call him James.
Oh,
it's
we'll be Jimmy forever.
Diana Rossini chimed in on the future of the coaching staff for the Patriots. As always, we do our winners and losers. D. Brown joins the show. Trav and Ante Campbell caught up with him. We take a look at the Celtics matchup with the Cavaliers. But let's get into what's trending. You know it. If you're new to it, we got a timer now. We got a buzzer. Let's throw the 3 minutes up on the screen. 3 minutes per topic.
Yeah.
James Harden passed Ray Allen second all-time on the NBA three-point list.
But you'd rather have Ray Allen.
1,000%. Ray Allen in big games. Like LeBron doesn't get his first ring without Ray Allen having the biggest stones in the world. The Celtics don't get their ring to end that drought without Ray Allen being a key piece of that big three. In big moments, he wanted the ball in his hands, and he was a stone-cold shooter. The man from his UConn days, the man when he first got into the league, changed his game to be a perimeter guy, corner shooter towards the end as well. Changed with the time. Growing up, though, like that was the dead-eye, deadlock shooter. Ray Allen, as you said it, the legacy I'd rather have is Ray Allen, who left an imprint with two very significant franchises, compared to James Harden that went like OKC, Houston, just every 2 years on a new team.
Okay, so listen, let's have a legacy conversation because I agree with everything you said, but I'll say this. We're not that old. We're not the old timers talking about the black and white players, you know, from when we didn't even have color TV, shooting threes and comparing them to the modern day player. Ray Allen is a modern day player. So in a lot of ways, this does illustrate just how great James Harden is and just how prolific of a scorer James Harden is and a shooter. At the same time, I mean, legacy, it's not even close. It's Ray Allen. There's other players other than James Harden. I don't know, unless he goes ring chasing at the very end of his career. Like back nine, he doesn't have much left in the tank, and he gets a ring just being a role player on a team. I still don't think that really changes James Harden's legacy. I guess you would just say, well, he got a ring.
Yeah.
But, you know, as far as being the man, I think his legacy's already set in stone. Great scorer, didn't win anything.
Doesn't like the big moments.
Doesn't like the big moments. Nightlife, that's part of his legacy. It is
when you look at the all-time list, and like Ray Allen was one of the three best players on the Celtics team. He wasn't one of the three best players, maybe even four best on that Heat team, obvious.
Sure.
But his role was very significant. He was crucial for their success in it all.
Leadership.
It is. When you're looking at the all-time three-point shooting list, you see Ray Allen, you go, two-time champ, big-time shots, and one of the best shooters we've ever seen, and one of the best offensive players we've seen, especially modern NBA.
No question.
When you see James Harden at 2 now, just under 3,000 made threes, you go, really good scorer, but you know what? I never looked at him and go, that's a guy I want on my team. Ray Allen was a guy you wanted on your team.
Fair? Is this a fair comp for James Harden? He's almost like the current day, I should say, Dominique Wilkins, where Dominique Wilkins scored, highlights, exciting, had a fan base that he was the guy with the Hawks.
Yeah.
But no shame in losing to the GOAT, right? He's a long list of great players who lost to Michael Jordan. That's the difference. James Harden is Dominique Wilkins without Jordan. I mean, in James Harden's prime, other players won titles.
Yeah.
He was not able to get one.
Yeah.
I think that hurts him.
And he was on teams that were very skilled.
That's right.
Like the Sixers. But Game 7, within 20 seconds.
Another thing.
I will deny and defy the buzzer when it comes to Jimmy Harden. All right, big one. What's your Christmas Day plan? Do you host? You go? Visit?
Whatever you need. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter.
I I agree. What are we doing? What are we doing this year?
It doesn't
and then
matter.
what the wife says.
Yeah, it's like, what are we doing?
Wherever
We're traveling, no problem. We're home, cool.
Wherever you are, you'll have Chiefs Steelers, Ravens Texans,
eggnog,
and Beyonce. On Christmas Day. Beyonce will be performing at halftime of the Ravens Texans game.
Yeah.
This game on Netflix. Not a good week to be on Netflix.
Well,
look, the audience, I don't think the audience will be the same. I think the servers can handle it.
Okay. You mean not as big?
But you got 2 NFL games and Beyonce.
You're tripping.
Yeah.
I think it could be as big, if not bigger. Here's the advantage
60 million people tuned in on Netflix.
Right. Advantage for the NFL is this.
Yeah.
This happened. Netflix wasn't ready. What do we have, a month before
month and a half, month and 10
these
days.
games and Beyonce? Yeah. So that tells me benefit NFL because there's time for Netflix to get their shack together and be ready for the servers to be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I feel like the Tyson Paul fight helped the NFL because Netflix now can kind of work the bugs out and say, okay, this time we're ready for that kind of traffic. And then to your point, if it doesn't happen, at least they're ready for it. But I think it could happen. Great games. Beyonce at halftime of one of those matchups. I mean, yeah, bro, we could be looking at Jake Paul Tyson numbers here. This time I think Netflix will be ready for it.
Super Bowl gets 120 million views.
Yeah.
Christmas Day, not as many people can watch. I grew up in a household. Why are you watching the game? Because it's
George, it's
Mahomes.
just NBA usually, though.
Yeah.
You got to think here.
Look, Netflix did awful. We were talking about it in the office, and I said the same thing to my boy I was watching. I'm like, this isn't just Netflix putting together a boxing fight.
Yeah.
This is Netflix auditioning for the Super Bowl.
Right.
And you know
that's endgame.
There were meetings between the NFL and Netflix where they go, look, we're going to run with you for Christmas this year.
Right.
Get your ish together.
Yes.
Because this is a 1-year deal.
That's right.
And they go with Max, Apple, whatever it could be, Amazon.
Yep.
We will sell the game to the highest bidder. You guys better be flawless on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Then Christmas Day will be the audition of when Super Bowls get more up in the air down the road.
Yeah.
Who gets it?
Well,
that's when it's going to come.
They're all going to get it, just like the networks. Fox, CBS,
it'll be bidding.
right?
Yeah.
It'll be the same thing with streamers. 1 year it'll be Netflix. 1 year it'll be Amazon. You know what I mean? I think eventually that's how the NFL does this. They don't sign a lifetime contract with anybody. They renegotiate. Yeah. We always talk about these players. This is actually funny we bring this up because you and I always are like, look, take a short-term deal, hit the market again, reset the market. We always say that for these players, but they can get hurt, so we understand why they want the long-term.
Yep.
But for the NFL, they're so genius. They're like short-term deals. We'll just reset the market in another 3 years. It's unbelievable.
We'll see what they do. See how Netflix does. All right. Danny Dimes' time is done in New York.
Finally.
Giants are benching Daniel Jones. He'll be emergency third quarterback.
Oh.
Tommy DeVito will be the starter.
Hey.
Drew Lock will be the backup. So this ends a interesting 6-year run for Daniel Jones. David Gettleman draft pick. Sixth overall pick for a GM that was a dead man walking. And the way any GM or head coach saves their job, you go to the rookie quarterback if it shows promise. So in his career, 24, 44-1 record. In 69 starts, 44 losses for the Giants. He was 3-13 his last 2 seasons. He played for Pat Shurmur, who was fired after his rookie year.
Wow.
Joe Judge, and with Jason Garrett as offensive coordinator for 2 years. Right. Objective failure. Then he's been with Joe Shane and Brian Dable. And in 2021, he had 22 total touchdowns, 7 rushing. Him and Saquon doing good. They're ahead of schedule, 9-7-1 record. Stunned Minnesota in a wild card game. And then that's what got him a deal. 4 years, $160 million, because the Mariners were like, we're effing back. We got the franchise quarterback. I want this. 3-13 his last 2 seasons, 2 neck injuries, torn ACL, was not the same quarterback since he got back from the torn ACL.
Yep.
And he's benched. Smart move by the Giants because they're going to cut him after this season. They saved $19 million against the cap.
Yeah.
So they will have $64 million in cap space to rebuild. Woo. But if he got injured this season, they would have to commit $22 million to him with an injury clause.
So that's why you bury him on the bench.
Yeah, yes. He should, cut him now, but you have to keep him in some capacity.
Yeah, for the business aspect.
But the emergency third, and then you got to go to Tommy DeVito and go, don't get injured.
Okay, so let's put a stamp on this. Daniel Jones officially is a draft bust.
Yes.
Who didn't see that coming? I mean, you can't trust these Dukies. Everyone knew damn well coming out of Duke, this kid wasn't ready for the big time. And here we are years later. The Giants should have moved off of him years ago. In fact, when they signed him, again, just like when they drafted him, everyone said, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
And then when they re-signed him, what the hell are you doing? They should have never gave him that contract. You should have let him walk then.
Yeah.
And then maybe you could have kept Saquon. But the future will be bright there because of the cap space you mentioned. And I personally, I think they're going to end up with Shedeur Sanders. That's where I think he's going to go. But
him or Cam Ward.
Or Cam Ward. Yeah. But either way, I'll say this. I think Daniel Jones now at this stage is clearly a backup in this league. And by the way, when we watch these teams on Sundays and Mondays and Thursdays and soon to be Saturdays and Fridays, we see the need, the value for a backup.
Yeah.
These quarterbacks get hurt. You look at a team like Miami. I mean, it is franchise malpractice to not have a really good backup behind Tua, right?
Yep.
So I think Daniel Jones can still have a fine career. Lord knows he's got enough money. But I just mean in terms of salvaging something. Mm-hmm. But there's no doubt he is a first-round draft bust. No question.
Next, Baker Mayfield, Geno Smith.
Right.
Sam Darnold.
Yes.
Who was good for half a season.
That's right.
But he'll be a reclamation progress elsewhere. You want more football talk? Check out the latest episode of Foxborough Rush. Available on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and Amazon Prime, wherever your podcasts are found. Latest episode recapping the Patriots' loss to the LA Rams. Next episode will be Keegan Stiefel with Draft Talk. And as always, we have Michael Lombardi on the Friday editions. That's wherever you get your podcast. And if you're on Nesson's YouTube page you're watching, hit the subscribe button as well. That's Foxborough Rush. Appreciate you not bringing up Sean Stellato and talking Daniel Jones.
I wanted to, but that damn shot clock.
Now it's our own show.
Yeah, really.
Tommy DeVito's back. We're going to see his agent.
That agent. Do you think maybe now he'll play the background a little more? That he's had his 15 minutes? Or is he just a type that he can't?
Is. Bro, look how he dresses. God. Look how he dresses.
It's true.
Yeah.
He looks like he's about to pull a caper.
What's a caper?
Like he walks into the bank and he just hands a little sheet that says put the money in the bag. Caper. He's got the hat on.
He just looks like he's waiting for like the next edition of Goodfellas or Sopranos to come out. It's just weird, bro. It is weird if you're dressing like that, especially at his age. All right, let's talk Patriots coaches. According to Diana Rossini of The Athletic, she put out a report, quote, at this point in the season, people around the league believe that Mayo's coaching staff is safe. And this was in response. She literally quote tweeted, Andrew Callahan of the Boston Herald put out a great article of being the Patriots were outcoached, which we all agree with.
We knew that.
It was the lack of coaching a win, and it was a lack of defensive adjustments.
That's right.
All of that. She quote tweeted that and said that. This is interesting because you go back a week, Albert Breer reported the Krafts were calling around for advice on developing young quarterbacks.
That's right.
We said, hey, that means Alex Van Pelt, Elliott Wolf, Jerod Mayo, wake up. Then Rossini says the coaching staff is safe. Krafts hiding behind league reporters, in my opinion, but trying to take the heat off Mayo a little bit.
I'm not surprised by this news, though. You always felt that way. Everyone was telling me the guy's going to be safe. Meanwhile, I was saying, I don't care who you are. If you win one or two games in this league, you're canned. I do think he's done enough. I'll be honest. I think that Bears game did it. And we talked about that immediately after that game where you see what rock bottom coaching looks like.
But that shouldn't be your standard.
It shouldn't be. I'm not saying it's right. But I do think he gained a lot on that particular game where it was like, okay, this guy's not terrible. This is what terrible looks like. And it was like, meaning he can continue to ascend. He can continue to move in the right direction. In other words, there's room for growth. And we'll see. My gut is they're going to stick with this guy and Elliott Wolf another year. Let's throw him in there too because we've had conversations about that. We'll see about Van Pelt. Although I know they say he's safe. I mean, if they bottom out the rest of the way, someone's got to get blamed. And clearly it's not going to be Jerod Mayo or Elliott Wolf. So Van Pelt could be on the move, depending what we see the rest of the way here. But I look at Mayo and Wolf, and I think, why give them another season when the sample size you've seen, in my opinion, is enough to move off of them? I would rather, with the cap space the Patriots have, with the we think high draft pick that the Patriots will have. We'll see where it ends up, but we all feel as though it should be top 10, knock on wood, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've already seen Elliott Wolf with some of these draft classes, and then this last season, obviously Drake Maye is a no-brainer. You take Drake Maye, but outside of that, the draft class is trash, if you ask me. Jerod Mayo, okay, you could say, well, to your point, the standard shouldn't be rock bottom, but he's not the worst coach in the league. I think that's clear. But at the same time, does anyone really believe this guy can become elite? Does anyone believe he can get in the the Sean McVay, the Kyle Shanahan, even though things are hot for him right now, the Andy Reids of the world, even a D'Amico Ryan, who should be a comp for Jerod Mayo.
Yeah.
But D'Amico Ryans came out 5 minutes and was coaching his arse off.
The sound football team, yeah.
So I just don't understand sort of what the thought process is. Well, let's just give them another year for what?
Well, you commit.
For what?
But you want to take your time to say the coaching staff is safe. And again, around the league believe that Jerod Mayo's coaching staff is safe.
Right. Quote.
Also, and to compare Jerod Mayo to D'Amico Ryans, quarterback, check.
Yeah.
D'Amico's defense, better. D'Amico Ryans and C.J. Stroud's wide receiving room, better.
Game management.
Yes, but I'm saying he also has a more talented roster than D'Amico Ryans, where you have to work with. Offensive play caller, more advanced, more experienced, better as well for D'Amico Ryans. What gets me when I see the coaching staff is safe is that I'm surprised because the defense has continually been terrible all season long, aside from the Bears, who had an offensive coordinator that clearly was inept and a dead man walking as he was given his unemployment papers next week. This defense continually has looked terrible. And look at their matchup. Again, it's just like the simplicity of adjustments and knowing your personnel, where Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp went absolutely off on the Patriots defense. Accounted for 70% of their targets. Were never double-teamed. And watching back, the first trip to the red zone, first Cooper Kupp touchdown, Puka Nacua is not on the field. Cooper Kupp is on the right side of the line of scrimmage. Christian Gonzalez is the opposite side of the ball, all by himself, no receiver on his side of the field. And if Sione Takitaki, who played 3 coverage snaps on Cooper Kupp, that's why Cooper Kupp was so open. Then you go on a third down pass, you're blitzing Gonzalez. Look, I get the creativity, but if you want to blitz a corner, take one of your worser corners, take them out of coverage, and have your better guys in coverage. And with Jerod Mayo coming out and going, well, we controlled the clock. We controlled time of possession. Yeah, you were plus 15 minutes in time of possession, but the success rate that the Rams had was absolutely insane. Like, I think over 80%, which is unheard of in a game. Their first scoring drive, I showed you the plays. I go, look, that's an 86% success rate.
That's right.
Because there was no push. The run game is still averaging over 5.5 yards per carry, and they didn't even have to control it. And they only went, 1 for 8 on third down? They only faced 8 third downs all game. Yeah. Because they were getting so far ahead on first and second down. This defense has been terrible. Yes, it's dealing with a lot of injuries, but it's a lack of adjustments. And when you have a defensive-minded head coach and a defensive coordinator, first time at DeMarcus Covington, that's where I go, I don't know if they're safe.
Yeah, I guess the coordinators could be, but again, I still think about big picture, macro. And I think about the cap space. I think about the draft pick, top 10, we think. And I'm just like, man, you have the young quarterback. All of a sudden, New England, when Belichick leaves, maybe it's not, on the level of being one of the best jobs in the league. It's the Patriots. It's always going to be a top job. But there were other available vacancies that were hotter on the market at the time. I think now, a year removed from Belichick, if you admit, Robert Kraft, that this doesn't work and you sort of clean house in terms of front office and staff, because I'm not letting Elliott Wolf off the hook. I think that's maybe where you and I disagree, is I think you would maybe consider keeping Wolf and you would move off of the coach. I want everyone gone, okay? I'm Game of Thrones here. So I say that to say, if I'm on the open market with all of these assets that I just said to you, where's New England in terms of hot jobs? Obviously, we think some of these jobs that are going to come open are going to be sexier. I mean, I had my eye. I told you this from the beginning of the season. I had my eye on the Bay. I think that 49er job could be open, and everyone thinks I'm nuts. But I'm just saying, I think there'll be other jobs that could be maybe above the Patriots. But certainly, that would, if you were to move on from Jerod Mayo and Elliott Wolf, man, that somebody's going to hit a pretty good jackpot right there to inherit a quarterback. All that cap space, a top 10 draft pick. I mean, just say it out loud. That is a beautiful thing to walk into. And I would hope that if you were to move off this coaching staff, which they're not, but if you were, you would go to a more experienced, big name coach.
Look, if if anything for the coaching staff changes, it won't be Jerod Mayo because that'd be Robert Kraft and Jonathan Kraft admitting they're wrong.
Yes.
So they can't do that. There's always going to be the fall guy.
Right.
Right now, it won't be Alex Van Pelt because the development of Drake Maye has been good.
Sure.
Now, some of the play calling in situations, like when you're on the Rams 5-yard line, 7-yard line, you run on incomplete on first, run on second, run on third. You end up on their 2, and you decide to kick a field goal. That's on the head coach and offensive coordinator.
Hey, there's also time for Drake Maye to regress. If he regresses, maybe Van Pelt isn't off.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We could even go back to Alex Van Pelt was fired as an offensive coordinator.
Yeah,
bring him in as a quarterbacks coach if he's known about developing. Sure. He's still going to make that money from the Browns no matter what. But that's neither here nor there. I think it would be DeMarcus Covington to be the one. Now, I did mention the Breer reports from last week. Actually, Jerod Mayo on Monday on the Greg Hill show talked about those reports. Here he is, right here.
Like all those reports are false.
They're all false.
They're all false.
None of those
reports are true.
None of those reports are true. Okay.
And if they, but the thing about it, once again, like it's almost like talking out of both sides of our mouths. Like we're sitting here saying like he's developing great, and then they sit here and the story come out that people are asking around how to develop a quarterback. The one thing that being a head coach, I need to make sure I do a good job protecting our coordinators, our coaches, and also the players on the field. And so when you hear one person, Drake's not developing, another person, Drake's at a great place. Like, who do you think's responsible for that? It's Alex Van Pelt. He's responsible for that. And so why even call around to ask how to develop a quarterback? Yet everyone in the New England area, you just said Sean McVay included on the West Coast, is like, hey, this guy's developing at a good rate, and he's going to be a good football player in this league.
So, you know why you call around? Because the Krafts have been in football for 30 years as ownership. So they obviously know people. Pass that walk through the door, whether it's still in football or not. But you know why you call around, to your point, where they go, what do we have to do to get the players around this guy?
Yep.
And we need to go with our list, and it's going to be an informed list to the general manager. Again, I don't mind the Krafts doing this. I hate that it got leaked because you're undermining the head coach, you're undermining the GM, you're undermining everything there, and you're showing your face of saying, we don't trust the guys in that building. That's why you make those calls, and this is what it is. Jerod Mayo's going to walk out there. He was also asked, he said, we have open communication, I have a great relationship, and he's saying that's not true. It's true. Like, Albert Breer does a really good job at reporting the NFL.
Yeah.
And like I said to you, this is the Krafts calling him and going, hey, put this out so it shows we're doing something, man. Yeah, we have a hand in this success.
Right.
And then they saw the kickback, and they go, oh.
Yeah, we blew it.
So, Diana Rossini with the reports are safe is one way to put out a fire. And now, with everything going on with your head coach, you're putting it on him to have to go on the radio show and lie on your behalf.
Well, it doesn't sound like it because, I mean, listen, he's on the radio show. It sounded kind of like defensive of Alex Van Pelt. Bro, I mean, you're the head coach. You're the CEO. It's on you, too. I mean, he's very much like, well, who do you think developed him? Alex did. So if you're calling around, that's undermining Alex. Bruh, Alex is on your staff. It's undermining all of us. And you're the main guy, so it's really undermining you.
But you know what I'll take is that a head coach that will stand up for his assistants, stand up for his players, at least in that one.
Then I need him to be like, look, an attack on Drake Maye's development and Alex Van Pelt is an attack on all of us, on all my staff. That's why I'm telling you, if they're looking for a scapegoat, it'll be these coordinators.
Yes,
I think both of them could be in trouble, depending what happens. There's so much football left. Look, you go out, you beat the Colts, and you beat, but that's a winnable game. You go out, you beat the Colts, and you beat the Bills in a meaningless. You know what I mean? What's that? 5 wins.
Yeah, it's 1 win better than last year.
You one win better than last year. We got our quarterback of the future. You can talk yourself into anything.
Your 4 wins coming from week 9 through 18.
Right. That's what I mean. You could talk yourself into anything. But if the bottom comes out from here, and they lose the Colts game.
Yeah.
The Bills don't take the foot off the gas because maybe they made that mistake in the past. Remember, Bills have a long laundry list of choking in the playoffs.
Bills
so maybe
they
want to finish.
Fighting for that one seed.
That's good point.
So that change. Remember, you and I were sitting back, and we kept saying, "Well, they'll be in the playoffs." They need that 1 seed.
Bro, the road to the Super Bowl coming through Buffalo would be clutch.
I mean,
not
that last year.
Not that Mahomes hasn't won there before.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. But I agree to that point. Like, you beat the Chiefs. Now you control being the 1 seed.
Good point.
You need outside help because you have 2 losses. They have just 1. But that changes that Bills game.
It changes everything.
But
that's what I mean. If you don't win any more games, George,
Me, it is having why we like the Bears win, a competent, smart football team. I need to see that over wins and losses. I'm going to be 100% with you.
Okay, fair.
And that would be, I'm keeping AVP, I'm keeping DeMarcus Covington.
Well, then we have another test this week.
Yeah,
because McDaniels can coach.
What is, if they finish with 3 wins, but they're smart and competent, and I like what I see and I believe it, I'd be patient. If they win 5 games and it's because the Bills benched all their starters and the Colts stink because you beat Anthony Richardson, I'd be like,
I'm not
performance, man. It's not black and white.
I hate the report. I don't like that the coaching staff is safe. For what?
Yeah. And especially defensively.
What they lose out.
What I hate in all this, again, you're talking about, well, how Jerod Mayo should have handled it this way and that way, which I hear you on that. Valid. Jerod Mayo shouldn't have had to handle this at all. If you're the Krafts, you don't let this get out. Just stop.
Fair.
Just stop trying. You know who the favorite owners of teams are? The owners you don't know about.
The quiet ones that just write the checks.
Go to New York. Mayors aren't loved.
Yeah.
Go to Dallas. Jerry is hated.
What about that Rams dude? I think he's Walmart money, right? He lets McVay run it. I mean, smart guy, right?
He's cheap as hell, but
he is cheap. But think of all the trades and the wheeling and dealing. Yep.
Let the football people do it. Steve Bisciotti.
Yep.
Ravens owner. Let the football people do it.
Facts.
Dan Snyder, hated.
Yeah.
Josh Harris owns the Commanders. We forget about that.
That's right.
Hey, you want to enter the chat yourself? Make sure to call the hotline 617-790-0928 or email us to thechat@nesson.com. And that's you guys joining the conversation. Boston has entered the chat. New episodes dropping every day of the week. And wherever you get your podcasts, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Prime, along with YouTube as well. All right, T, let's get to our Week 11 winners and losers. Let's start with the winners.
Mike Tyson. Oh, you're just talking NFL?
Well, he didn't win, but he did win.
Winner of the week, Mike Tyson.
Hold on. He did win.
Yeah,
because he got $20 million.
Right.
And it was in AT&T Stadium.
Yes.
He's a winner of the week.
Yes, he is.
He is.
All right, for football.
If someone came to you and said, hey, 50, you're now 58 and you're out of shape, and you're going to go through 8 rounds of cardio hell, but do it and you get $20 million. And also, hey, your legacy is going to take a shot. You might be embarrassed a little.
Yeah, you're
ass
pretty much
is going to be out there.
You're literally your whole ass is out.
I would do it in a heartbeat. I'd be like, yeah, you're about to see this hairy Armenian ass, and this could be worth $20 million.
People would pay good money for that, George, and Netflix would be buffering because everyone would be tuning in to see it.
I wouldn't need the $20 million. My OnlyFans does it for me.
Our poor producer, Brendan, he's just like, geez, can you just give us the NFL winners and losers? Stop talking about Mike Tyson's arse. All right, I'll go Bills for my winner.
Yeah, great call, Matt. Yeah.
I mean, listen, I told you this in the offseason. I said I'm not taking them to win the Super Bowl. I'm still not taking them to win the Super Bowl. But I thought for the first time in the Josh Allen era, we'll call it, they have a running game. And I get it. He can throw, he can run, he can do all this. He had weapons forever. That's not the way. This dude, I love Josh Allen. I defend him when he turns the ball over. But I always thought he was turning the ball. The reason I defended him, he was turning the ball over because he had to play hero ball all the time.
Yeah.
Now, he does not have the weapons he once had, but he's more efficient because James Cook and that running game is for reals. Mm-hmm. They developed that guy. They've had Cook there for years. They developed him. He's peaking now. This is the way. This is the way you do it. And I'm telling you, when we get to January, run that guy. You got to make sure James Cook is feeling good and healthy going into the playoffs. I feel the same way about Pittsburgh. You better make sure Najee Harris is feeling good going into the postseason. If he is, this Bills team, this iteration of the Bills are going to be much better and fare much better in the postseason because of that run game. You could take less pressure off of Josh Allen. That's the key for them.
Yeah, you know why they're the winner to me is they beat the Chiefs. They beat them at home.
Yeah.
It's that 4th and 2 play where you're on the wrong side of the 2-minute warning and you're up 23-21. It is 4th and 2. And a lot of teams in the past, and in that situation, I would say 31 times out of 32, you take the field goal, you take that 5-point lead, and you put on your defense. But when you're facing Patrick Mahomes, you need to play big boy football.
Yep.
And that's what they did. Now, I bet you the Bills were like, yeah, let's get a first down here, let the clock run down, we wasted 2-minute warning. But, man, that's just winning football because a 5-point lead is not safe against Patrick Mahomes. But when you Go for it on 4th and 2 and just score the touchdown regardless. And you go from being up possibly 5 to being up 9, aka 2 scores, Trav. That is winning football. That is how it should be played. That is the exact opposite of being a coward. Yeah. And they did that. That play call, when they get to that drive, I go, they have to get a touchdown here.
Yes.
It's 4 down territory every single down and distance, whatever the set is.
Yep.
And I loved seeing Sean McDermott make that decision. I love seeing Joe Brady put the ball in Josh Allen's hands, which was a scramble. I just love the Bills playing football and being about that life.
Yeah, I think that's well said. Who's your winner?
My winner, Steelers, man.
Yeah.
They just last week they took the most efficient offense in the NFL and made them inefficient.
Yeah.
And they held Jaden Daniels to all season lows. This week, in their win over the Ravens, they took the most explosive offense in the NFL, held them to 16 points. Lamar to his season worst completion percentage and QBR, forced a fumble on Derrick Henry, which never happens. And they won without scoring a touchdown and going 0 for 4 in the red zone. Winning football behind that defense.
I think both of those teams won. You know why? The Steelers, obviously, we got to put some respect on them and start talking about them as a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah.
We're not really doing that. We need to start doing that, okay? That's number one. Number two, why I say the Ravens win, this looked eerily like the Ravens look in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Defense. Lamar's not quite right. Defense is getting to him. He can't figure him out.
Yep.
The running game disappoints you when you've leaned on it all year. I'm telling you, if I'm the Ravens, I am watching that Steelers tape every week for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
I'll know every play. I know everything we did wrong because that's what it looks like in the postseason.
Yep.
It's strange.
That defense, man, concerns me.
Yeah.
What about your losers? Who are your losers?
I'm going 49ers. I told you coming into the season that I thought this team would regress championship terms. I didn't even see this coming. They're a 500 team. They're a 500 team.
Yeah, no one saw this.
You know how much talent you have on that team? I don't want to hear about the injuries. Every team's hurt. So, and by the way, the Niners are starting to get healthy, and they're still losing these games. They're inconsistent. I thought by the time we got to the playoffs in the NFC, they would lose divisional round or wild card weekend or whatever. I did not think we would be really realistically looking at a world where this team doesn't make the playoffs in the NFC. But I'm telling you, it could happen. The Cardinals are better. This was a massive win for the Seahawks against them. The Rams are getting right. There are teams in the NFC starting to kind of catch their footing here. The Niners are not one of them. They're going in the opposite direction. Look, this is a team. They have some real wholesale decisions to make. I think there could be a change at coaching, and everyone thinks I'm nuts.
I think you're nuts.
I know you do, but I told you in the offseason, if this team comes up short again, they have to do some soul searching. They're coming up short before I even thought they would. So I just think at some point, we've seen this happen, when franchises think they're this close to winning a Super Bowl, they will make a coaching change and get someone in there, a new voice who they think can propel them. I'm just saying, keep your eye out on that.
I don't think they do it because if you fire Shanahan, I mean, it'll be John Lynch's hire, but that front office and that coaching staff is so intertwined. Injuries, including a Drake Greenlaw, Hufanga, once again, has never been steady and healthy this season. Christian McCaffrey, you have a Gemma Jordan Mason, he goes down. Debo Samuel is clearly banged up, and he's likely gone after this season. It'll be like what the Bills did, soft rebuild.
Okay.
Revamp the talent. They have to pay Brock Purdy. I was completely wrong about the Bills. You said they're winning. I said, no way. I said Jets or Dolphins, right? I was really high on the Jets. I don't even want to go how wrong I was there. But I thought the Bills would be in a soft rebuild. The fact that they pulled off what they did, I think we see a soft rebuild from the 49ers.
Okay.
But again, this is also a reminder, their soft rebuilds look different than ours.
Sure.
And the reminder, too, just to say really quick to go back to the Bills, this is why you get Amari Cooper. Because him and Khalil Shakur as man beaters make a difference for this entire offense. And that's why it was such a good addition. Very underrated trade deadline acquisition. My loser is the Bengals. So twofold, where the Chargers are the better team. I great entertaining game. Was not surprised by the outcome.
Sure.
But they lost while the Broncos, Colts, and Dolphins all won.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow is on pace for a career best year in touchdown passes and a career low in interceptions. He leads the league in passing yards, passing attempts, passing touchdowns, and you're wasting it because it's a poorly managed team. The Bengals are wasting the prime of Joe Burrow. Hey, that's what they're doing.
That's a buyer's beware, right? It's almost like, okay, you pay this quarter. We're just talking about the Niners,
and that's it. They didn't pay Jamar.
They did not.
Yeah, it's like, where's a buyer's beware? Just invest in the right spots. Don't be cheap
Dallas
asses.
too, right? Dallas gave Dak the money. Oh, well, they did pay CeeDee
They have so
Lamb.
many holes everywhere else.
Yeah.
They just Dallas has $25 million in cap space.
Right.
They need a run-stopping defensive lineman. They need another corner, Stephon Gilmore.
And a running game.
Exactly, Derrick Henry. They could have had all that.
Yeah.
It's just the Bengals are wasting Joe Burrow.
That's a
and
mess.
maybe, as I said, Drake Maye could be Matt Stafford. Maybe Joe Burrow is Matt Stafford.
Maybe. In Detroit, right?
Yep.
Damn, put up all the numbers, never won anything. He at least went to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Stafford never got that far.
Yeah, exactly. All right, this is a fun one. D. Brown stopped by the show, so we'll toss into this one. He talked about, obviously, ahead of the tradition with our guys on Hold My Banner. Here's D. Brown, Celtics great, right here.
Congratulations on your Basketball Legacy Award with the tradition at the Sports Museum. Talk to me about just your love affair with the city. I mean, as much love as you've given over the years and as much love as you've received from Boston over the years.
Now, first of all, thanks for having me on the show. Very, very humbled, honored to be able to receive the award at the tradition for the Sports Museum. You know, all the names that's been in there inducted before me and gotten the Basketball Legacy Awards and, you know, going in with other great players that played in New England is also obviously an honor as well. But, you know, the love for Boston is real. You know, first time away from home was in Boston. You know, being drafted there, playing with the Big Three, the original Big Three. You know, being around Hall of Famers on a daily basis like Ray Auerbach and Seth Sanders and Tommy Heinsohn and Bob Cousy and, you know, JoJo White, Dennis Johnson. You know, all those guys are big brothers to me, and they paved the way for me to be able to be there and get love where I received in Boston, playing in the old Boston Garden. You know, playing with you know, all the great players I played with and coaches I got a chance to be around. But it's about the city. You know, I love Boston. I still got family up there. My wife's from Cambridge, Massachusetts. Went to Ridge and Latin and went to AIC and played basketball. So I still have a close bond to the area of Boston. So, you know, it's still, you know, to me, you know, basically my second home.
Yeah, you talk about the love for Boston. I want to know, how did playing for a historic franchise like the Celtics shape your career on and off the court, man?
Well, I think the biggest thing was I was a student of the game. So I remember watching when I was younger, watching the Celtics Lakers on CBS with Tommy Heinsohn was doing the calls. And I was more of a, it was funny, everybody thought I was going to be a Lakers fan. I was more of a Celtics fan because I loved the way they played, you know, the team basketball, the passing, the cutting. Even though I was an athletic person, then that's what Showtime was in LA, I loved the fundamental part of the game. So I was a big student. So I remember when I visited Boston, you know, during getting prepared for the draft, I got a chance to spend a lot of time with Red Auerbach and talk to him in his office, which is basically a sports museum in its own right. He had so much stuff in there, and I was in awe. And that was like, this is the place I wanted to be. Obviously, I had no control over that. You know, I was slated to go, you know, higher, and I could have dropped to lower. But I think I had a real connection with the city when I got a chance to spend time with Red for at least a few hours. And we just talked basketball the whole time, history. He was very, very impressed with my, you know, love of not just the game, but the history of the Celtics. So when I got drafted, you know, to be there to play with the veteran guys who won championships, played in the old Garden, to be around guys who've won championships, it molded me because I didn't realize how hard it was to win not just a game in the NBA, but win a championship. Because you're always saying in Boston, we don't hang division banners in Boston. We hang championship banners in Boston.
Yeah.
And I knew that from day one. You know, we won Atlantic Division championship, but there wasn't no banners in there for that. We won championship. So I got a chance to be around that atmosphere, what hard work was, what to be professional was. You know, Larry, Kevin, and Chief and DJ were all different types of leaders to me. Larry showed me how hard it was to work. Yeah, I thought I was working hard until I saw Larry Bird work hard. I thought I was having fun playing the game until I saw Kevin McHale, how much he had fun playing the game and how he took it serious, but he enjoyed the other parts of his life. And with Robert and DJ, they taught me how to be professional, how to dress for the games. I was wearing suits my rookie year because Robert and DJ say, listen, you're professional. You wear suits to the game. We don't wear sweatpants. We don't wear, you know, casual clothing. You're a pro, so you're going to dress like a pro. So those things that I got from them, I try to use as I got older in the league and played for different teams after I left the Celtics and being in their front office. Those kind of mentorship things, passing forward to younger guys, I thought those things are very important that I got to learn from day one when I stepped in Boston.
I'm not going to lie, D, I miss the old school suited and booted. I mean, some of the outfits that these cats wear to these games now, don't even get me started. But look, man, the fan in me can't just let you keep just throwing these legendary names out there and not give me some stories, dog. Whether you give me an old Garden story or any of the legends, you name it. But I tell you what we need. We need a Larry Bird story. I know some of them you can't tell on TV, but you got to give us something, man. I need a Larry. I need some legendary stories. I need some old Garden stories. Give us something, man.
Man, I mean, there's so many stories. You know, you experience so much with those guys, and again, they're like, you know, they're like rock stars when we travel. You know, my rookie year, we're still traveling commercial, so we're still, you know, flying, you know, commercial flights. You know, they're sitting in first class. I was sitting in coach. I was getting bags, taking bags to their rooms, picking up their laundries, things like that, like we're supposed to do. You know, for Hall of Fame players and for your veteran guys. But I think that the story with Larry is that he would shoot with me after practice every day. And not that was part of my rookie duty, but I wanted to be better, so I wanted to be around Larry as much as I could. And we would literally shoot for hours and hours after practices. And we would shoot for money. And I didn't have a lot back then, but I thought I was a good shooter. And Larry, listen, like, hey, we're going to shoot. Yeah, I remember this is 1990, 91, $100 a shot. Okay, yeah, ain't no big deal. You know what? I can make a little extra money if I can beat Larry Bird in shooting. And, you know, I would go up and then I would go down a lot during the course of the year. So during the course of the season, you know, I kind of got in the hole a little bit. So I said, you know what? I'm going to write you a check. And I wrote him a check. I ain't going to say how much. And I gave it to him. So the season goes on. We're still shooting. I'm still doing it just because I want to be better. And then at the end of the season, you know, Larry gave me my check back. He never cashed a check. He was like, listen, this is for you being like wanting to absorb information. You wanted to be a pro. You shooting after practice with me, chasing rebounds down, and he never cashed a check. Like, and to me, I felt that I earned his respect. You know, like, listen, yeah, if you'd have gave me a check, I'd probably cash it. I was a rookie. I didn't have money like that. So, but for him not to do that was amazing. I try to beat him at practice every day, and every day. No matter how early I got there, I could never beat Larry Bird practice. And you hear those stories about that. It's true. If he wanted to be the first at practice, no matter who it was, a rookie, a 10-day guy, a guy on the injured reserve list, like, he was that professional. So, you know, the stories you hear about Larry, just him talking mess at the benches, like, you know, why you got this guy guarding me? Like, I heard those stories, you know, and was sitting there like, man, he really talking crazy to the bench like that. And he did. And he was serious. Like, you can't have these people guard me. I'm the coolest white dude in the building. Like, y'all are crazy. And he's about as good as they get as far as trash talking, but also a professional and doing things the right way. I got a chance to be around that for a couple of years.
Make sure to check out D Brown at The Tradition, November 20th at TD Garden. But also, if you're missing it, you can catch it on Nesson December 11th at 6 p.m. D Brown, Rob Gronkowski, Terry Francona, Brad Parks. A lot of legends will be a part of that night. That's cool to hear him talking Larry Bird.
Man, he was super cool, bro.
D Brown seemed like it.
Even, you know, he talked about the dunk contest and just its impact on basketball and culture. He was a great interview for sure. And it was a cool moment for me, George, as a kid of the 90s who had his shoes, who used to go through the hallways at my school doing this, me and every other kid. It was awesome to sort of come full, circle in that way and get a chance to interview him.
No, he seemed like a good dude. You can check out the full combo wherever you get your podcast.
Yes,
Hold My Banner, D Brown, punch that in on Spotify app or Apple or Amazon, or go on YouTube. Hold My Banner, D Brown, you get the full combo. Trav, Ante Campbell,
Show
and
us
Celtics
love,
legend.
baby.
Fun time to watch that interview.
Yep.
Celtics.
Oh.
Big game for them.
Yeah, it is.
Hosting the undefeated Cleveland Cavaliers.
Let's talk about it.
This Cavs team's interesting, man. Best offense in the NBA by a lot of metrics you look at. Kenny Atkinson, where we looked and we go, is this the answer with this roster? And everyone's saying no. Look at the life you put in. Look, 15 games in, they look awesome. They're great on both ends of the floor as well. While this is a Celtics team, which still is the best team in the NBA, I need to see more from the Cavs. The Eastern Conference Finals preview, don't hate it.
Could be. Look, the Cavs could be the number 1 seed in the East. I wouldn't bat an eye at that if someone told me that they end up being the number 1 seed. You remember 2 years ago, because you and I talked about it ad nauseum when it was happening. And it was from a betting angle, but still, we remember the Celtics were the 1 seed in the East. The Bucks were within striking distance, but the Celtics, we felt like were the best team. They were going to have locks on the number 1 seed, and then they started fading down the stretch. Remember? Yep. Bucks got hot. They played each other a few times in key matchups. Bucks won those. Next thing you know, the Bucks are the 1 seed in the East.
Yeah.
In the end, that year in particular, it didn't matter because the Heat, who were like the 8th seed, got hot and went to the finals, right? I almost feel like I wouldn't be shocked if something like that happens again, because what the Cavs are doing is sustainable. They've always played defense. What Atkinson has done, I think, is come in and sort of bonded that team.
Yeah.
It's really the same team.
Yeah.
What they're doing is they're trying to be healthy at the right time. They're already resting Donovan Mitchell, smart, okay, to try to ensure he's down the stretch, because he was out and Jerod Allen was out when the Celtics played them in the playoffs last season. Mm-hmm. I think also in liking one another and becoming a real team, because I think there was some weird things there with Bickerstaff, Donovan Mitchell, and Darius Garland. So Atkinson has sort of brought in this kumbaya stuff.
Which you need.
And they're more efficient offensively. It's a smoother offense. That's it. You got to give credit to the coach there, too. So I think it's sustainable what they're doing. In a 7-game series, I'll still take the Celtics. I just think the Celtics top to bottom are better and have been cohesive longer. Mm-hmm. But I would not be shocked at all if the Cavs win tonight and or are the 1 seed in the East.
Yeah.
It still won't move me off of my position of banner 19 incoming. Mm-hmm. But it could, George. We could be talking about the 2 best teams in the East moving forward.
Yes.
And this could be an Eastern Conference Finals preview. None of that shocks me.
It's also the number 1 and 2 scoring offenses just on points per game basis. Cavs are 1, Celtics are 2.
Yep.
Both teams are right around that top 12 defensively across the board as well.
They can both defend when they want to.
Yeah, and we know the Celtics can. And obviously, to me, the difference is that the Celtics, the bodies they have, that can defend, especially the amount of guys 1 through 5.
Yeah.
That, to me, is the difference maker here. Look at this. The Cavs are 15-0, have the best offense in the NBA. Mm-hmm. Celtics are 4.5-point favorites at home against an undefeated team with the best offense in the NBA.
That says it all.
That says a lot about how respected Boston is, which I agree with wholeheartedly.
Are you betting it?
Yeah, I think I'm going to lay the points on this one.
Okay, all right.
Because we've seen how Tatum and Brown have rose to the occasion.
Yeah.
And they pay attention, especially Jaylen Brown, pays attention to what are they saying about Donovan Mitchell? What are they saying about this Cavs team? They're getting more talk than us. Where JB will take on the defensive assignment himself and that responsibility, but also with what the Drew Holidays bring, what their front court brings. With Neemias Queta being an awesome surprise while Porzingis is still returning from his injury.
Right.
Like, they have the role players they need in certain spots. They still have the stallions and the horses. And they have the psycho head coach who knows how to keep them locked in. Where they're not... Cavs could sip the Kool-Aid. I don't think the Celtics do. I just like the Celtics in this matchup. And like you said, man, I mean, like, it's fun. We're talking 16 games into the regular season that this Cavs-Celtics one genuinely is interesting. In 7 games, who can beat the Celtics? Nobody. Maybe the Thunder. But I don't think so.
Yeah, listen.
I don't think it's Cavs team.
I'm not going to bet it, and here's why.
You okay?
I was the dummy that bet on them to lose their first game a while ago, and it was against the Golden State Warriors.
Yep, I remember that.
And Golden State was playing well, and I said, come on, there are levels to this. Cleveland, this is what made me actually buy into Cleveland.
Yeah.
There's levels to this. This start for Cleveland's cute, but it's not sustainable. That's a word I use, right? Mm-hmm. I didn't think it was sustainable at first. And then they absolutely drubbed. Okay, they took Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and put them over each knee and spanked them. That's what happened. They drubbed the Warriors. And I said, uh-oh. Well, I didn't see that coming. So I'm not going to bet on this game, but I am going to agree with you in your assessment of what's going to happen. And we've seen that from the Celtics team. When they want to be locked in, and they take something serious, and they're not bored out of their gourd, because I think a lot of this stuff, like this NBA Cup, they don't give a rat's ass about the NBA Cup. If they beat the Cavs, it's not because of this tournament. It's because they need to send a message to the Cavs. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I think they're going to be dialed in. The Cavs are at full strength here. The Celtics are not technically yet, and I know Porzingis is coming eventually. We could talk about him if you want, but I'm going to take the Celtics at home, dialed in, trying to, even if it's psychologically, sort of send a message to the Cavs. But I will take the Cavs to be in an absolute heavyweight bout here. I'm going to go 125-121 Celtics. So the hook could be a crook here.
I just did the math. You saw that look I gave you?
4.5 could be a problem.
I was like, you
It could be. I'm not betting it.
But
because they burned me.
Yeah.
The Cavs have burned me already.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing. Here's where I'll be shocked.
Here we go.
Since I brought it up.
Yeah, do it.
This would really. I still would take the Celtics in a 7-game series, but I'll be honest with you. If the Cavs do to the Celtics what they did to the Warriors, I'll be shocked. That's the only thing that could shock me. If they come in here and whoop arse, I'd be shocked by that. I don't really see that happening, though. I don't.
I could see the over in this one just because both teams love the three ball. The Cavs shoot the three better than anyone. The difference maker in this one, which, by the way, your total would be the over for.
Okay.
The difference maker in this one, though, is that the Celtics defend on the perimeter. Cleveland does not. Cleveland's like, I think they rank 27th in the NBA.
So you can see the Celtics pulling away
opponents' 3-point percentage, and with both teams loving the three ball, but the Cavs don't shoot a ton because they make a ton.
Right.
You run into a good defensive team on the perimeter. It takes away what your main piece is as you score. Celtics make you play their ball, and that's why I think Celtics win this one.
What's your score?
125-120.
Oh, it's right there.
Just to be petty.
Why are you betting this?
Just to be petty.
You're insane.
I'm being petty. I gave you that score because you said 125-121.
No, I know, but I'm just saying if you're laying the points, like you're living on the edge here.
Yeah, I would rather go.
You should go over.
No.
You're sticking with it?
Yeah.
Man.
I want to go with my gut.
By the way, for context, I brought up how the Cavs beat the hell out of the Warriors. Lord knows I remember it because I lost money. That game was in Cleveland. So, I mean, take that for what you will.
Yeah.
This game's here. I just think it matters.
NBA Cup, like fans get up for it. I don't care for the NBA Cup.
The fans get up for it.
Stop the floor. Stop the floors.
They're not, George.
With the floor stuff.
I hate the floors.
The City
but they're not
Edition
gonna stop
uniforms.
It. They're awful. The whole thing's awful. The cup.
I don't hate the cup.
Awful.
I don't hate the cup.
I kind of hate it.
I hate the floor.
I get it.
I hate the floor.
It brings urgency. Like, I get it.
Yes.
The players.
Do something with the floor, but don't do the floor. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. I do, actually.
Right? Like, do something.
Do something, but not that.
I like the circumpomp. Is that what it's called?
Pomp and circumstance.
Thank you, Jesus.
You just went backwards.
I love the pageantry of the NBA Cup. I do.
But do something with the floor.
But don't do the floor.
Just not that. It's like my wife. When I say, what do you want for dinner? I name a place. I don't want that. I'm like, what do you want? I don't know, but not that. Great. We're at square one.
Exactly.
Do
it just
something.
looks awful.
Do something with the floor.
He's Travis Thomas, a.k.a. Smash. I'm George Balekji, a.k.a. Dash. This is Boston has entered the chat. We'll see you guys same time, same place every day of the week. Have a good one, everyone.